Oh my God.
Hey y'all, this your girl Leticia. Welcome to another episode of Leticia Talks. We have a lot to discuss because it has been a crazy week as always. We will kick it off first with our sports take, move on and have a little bit of a yapathon. Then we will have our auntie talks, which the topic today is accountability. We'll then finish it off with our cyber talks. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoy and thank you for tuning in. Welcome back. Welcome back. And it's time to get into our WNBA sports take. Let's get it started. Last week, when we had our last episode, we were covering game 4, and game 5 was getting ready to happen for the WNBA semifinals. Well, to wrap that up and head on to the finals, uh, one, it was the best of 5. Las Vegas ran away with it. Las Vegas took it 107-98. Okay, what? It was crazy. Um, that game was very intense. It was very aggressive. Um, them ladies literally went out there and did everything they could do to get a win. Um, Unfortunately, it did not work out for the Fever. Um, on top of Kelsey Mitchell getting hurt, I want to say a little bit after halftime. So probably like beginning of the fourth, she got hurt, or probably the end of the third. I can't say off the top of my head. Out there, put up 15 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Um, then their leading scorer was Odyssey Sims. Okay, she needs her flowers because she was balling out of control, balling 27 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal. She helped get them into overtime against the Aces in game 5. Next leading scorer we had Natasha Howard with 16 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal. Um, Shea Patty, 13 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Lexi Hall, 12 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block. Aaliyah Boston, 11 points, 16 rebounds, and 2 assists. And she fouled out the game because the Aces was going at her and got fouled out. Hey, she was fouling. I mean, that's just what occurred. The Aces, okay, they had Asia Wilson, 35 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, 4 blocks. Jackie Young, 32 points, 4 rebounds, 10 assists, 1 steal. Kelsey Gray, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. And she had got hurt at one point in the game, came back in and finished the game strong. Um, and they went into overtime and she was still playing. She came and was balling out. I want to say, everybody that showed up showed out. Okay, and they took that win for that series game. Aces 3, Fever 2. So it was best of 5. So the Aces got the best of it. All right, now we're gonna move on to the finals. Um, it's the best of 7. Supposedly, it's the first ever for the women to have a 7 series finals, but we might not even need 7 rounds, so we'll see. Game 1, Mercury vs Aces. Mercury 86, 89 Aces. Okay, Aces took that win home at home. They was balling. Okay, they did start off that first game a little slow. I wasn't feeling on my dang. They keep playing like it's gonna lose. It literally came down to the end. So, um, the the last shot, the last 3 pointer that helped them not have a tie game anymore because Phoenix was there to play. They were not playing. Okay. Um, the Aces leading scorers got Asia Wilson, 21 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. Dana Evans, okay? Gotta give her flowers because Chicago did not do right by my girl, okay? But that's fine. I'm glad she's on a winning team now. 21 points. 21 points. Dana Evans, 21 points. 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals. Joy Lloyd came in, 18 points, 4 rebounds, and she was playing great defense the entire game. Jackie Young, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. Chelsea Gray had 8 points, 7 rebounds, 10 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. You wouldn't even know that she had tweaked her ankle the last game, because she was just doing what she had to do. They did play great defense in the second half of this game, I will say, because the first half of this game, it was like the Mercury was getting the best of them. But Alyssa Thomas, they figured out a way to limit her touches to the ball, and Talia Copper came away again with 21 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Satu Sabali, 19 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Alyssa Thomas, 15 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 blocks. Monique Akola Makani, 11 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Dewana Bonner, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block. But even with all of that, the series was 1-0 game after game 1. 1-0. Aces up 1. And I thought they were going to come back and next game do better, but the Aces came to play. I mean, I don't know what to tell them. The game, Mercury versus Aces game 2 ended 78-91 with the Aces up, okay, 2-0 on them in the series. So, Aces leading scorers, we had Jackie Young, 32 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. Asia Wilson, 28 points, 14 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. Chelsea Gray, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. Jewel Lloyd, 9 points, 7 rebounds, 3 steals. And Dana Evans, 5 points, 5 assists. Listen, this game was a Jackie Young show. She came in one quarter and scored 21 points. It was insane to watch. I was like, yes, whoop they ass. But no, seriously, I was too excited for them to win. I want the Mercury to win. They put my team out, so they need to get put out. Like, yes, they had a great one, and I am a Kalia Copper fan, but I'm sorry. Her ancestors, Satu Sapuli, I fuck with them. But we'll see. The game's not over. The series not over. Mercury's leading scorer for game 2, Kalia Copper, 23 points, 3 rebounds. Satu Sabali, 22 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. Alyssa Thomas, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. Monique Akoa Makani, 9 points, 1 rebound, 7 assists, 1 steal. Natasha Mack, 6 points, 10 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block. Look, this game, I will say that the Aces defense was impeccable, okay? They were stopping everything on the Mercury's end, to the point where Alyssa Thomas was in foul trouble and she had to like lighten up. I know she liked to play bully ball, but you can't do that with the Aces. They not gonna let you bully them, and they took the series. I would say props to Becky Hammond on making her team practice that defense to slow the Mercury down, because me personally, I don't feel like they played the best defense in game 1 against them. Up until like the second half, or really it was overtime, I would say. But actually they didn't go over. But either way, they didn't play very good defense the first game, but the second game they played amazing basketball. They weren't really giving Asia Wilson the ball at some point. But she was finally able to get open, get the ball in the hole. She was putting up a lot of shots. Some of them just wasn't going in, and that's just how the game goes. I mean, sometimes you'll make it, sometimes you'll miss it. You can't really determine whether or not it's going to go in or not. Like, you practice, yes, you practice a million times shooting the same shot from different ranges, and sometimes you miss, sometimes you don't. But if you don't ever attempt, you ain't gonna make it at all. So shout out to her for not giving up, even when her shot kept coming back up out the rim or swirling down the rim, whatever. Yes. Overall, great game. If you did not watch, y'all need to tune in. Game 3 is tomorrow, October 8th at 8 p.m. I believe that's Eastern time, so it might be 7 p.m. Central time. Y'all can check y'all for yourselves. And it's gonna be on ESPN or Fubo if you don't. It's not ESPN. I don't really know what Fubo is, but ESPN. ESPN. Game 3, and look, I believe it's back at Phoenix this time. Like, these first 2 games was at the Aces. I believe the next 2 games are at Phoenix. But either way, I hope the Aces come in there, play the same defense they was playing, because that was good defense. They didn't know what to do. They was still Talia Copper. She gets her buckets. It don't matter. Like, she's really one of them players that's like unstoppable. Like, y'all can't stop her from getting her points. Period. So they did try to slow up her getting her points, but she still showed up. Still showed up for her team. The water Bonner was a little absent for her team last game. Um, Not really sure what's going on there, but hopefully she gets that together. And I feel like if she would have contributed, it wouldn't be as bad as a gap in the final score. But at the same time, I think the Aces were gonna win regardless. So there's that. And let's see, let's so on to the CBA talk. According to reports, um, the CBA obviously is supposed to occur at the end of this month, October 31st, Halloween basically. And there's still this great divide between the WNBA leadership and the players. And since we last talked and we discussed how Nafisa Collier came out and said basically they have the worst leadership in the world, Kathy Engelbert has come out and made multiple comments. But her last comment, I kind of made it because she said basically that there were lies, basically, let's just say that, and misinformation with the information on social media and through reporting, which, as I pointed out, came straight from the piece of mouth. So is it really issues in the reporting, or is it just something you didn't want to hear? You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense. Also, Kathy Engelbert reports to Adam Silver. Adam Silver has come out and said that there are relationship issues between the players and the leadership, and that he's confident that those can get fixed and they can move forward to continue the rocket trajectory that the league has now. He also stated that Kathy Engelbert has presided over historic growth in the league, and that there's no question that there's issues we need to address with our players, not just economic. First off, let's say Kathy Engelbert has presided over historic growth in the league. Was it her creating the growth, or was it the players that were coming in that bringing more eyes that created the growth? Let's be clear on where this growth came from. That had nothing to do with her leadership. When Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, all of those in that draft class came into the league, they brought all of those eyes with them because they created, well, I would say the media and the fans from college basketball created this narrative, and that just followed into the WNBA. That I personally don't believe had anything to do with the WNBA leadership, because, from my opinion, since I started, I've been saying things like the marketing is horrible, it needs to be better. The fact that they leaned more into the racial baiting that was occurring between the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese team last season, I didn't feel like that was right. And then the comment that Captain Ingleberg came out and basically kind of just like, oh, it's like a magic and bird thing, like just trying to minimize what was occurring last season. And then she went and backtracked and was like, oh yeah, we don't accept racism. You should have said that the first time, okay? Um, it's things like that where she's lost the players' trust, and even just some of the fans that have come about in these last 2 seasons. So is that really going to be fixed without a change in leadership? I personally don't think so. The fact that Nafisa Collier decided to cancel the meeting she was supposed to have with Kathy Engelberg, following Kathy Engelberg's remarks saying that basically it was misinformation and the conversation didn't go how Nafisa said, so basically calling her a liar. I would have canceled the meeting too, because why you think I'm about to come sit with you again after we just had that conversation back in February, and now I'm putting it out what you said during that meeting, and you're trying to say that basically you didn't say what you said, but you think I'm about to sit down with you so you can say some more crap and then turn around and say you ain't say it? I don't think so. So I back Nafisa on that because that's just insane. Um, Adam Silver did say that he does think that if they can come to a agreement on the CBA, um, we will see. We will see, because from how it is being perceived currently, the players are going to stand on business. Okay, they're going to stand on business because the league needs them more than they need the league, especially now that they have another league that they can go to that is already paying them more than they make in the WNBA, which is insane for one. Let's start there. Especially since in these last 2 years, the amount of money that they have brought to this league that everybody kept saying, no, they don't make any money. They do make money. They do make money, because if they didn't make money, they wouldn't still be around. Let's be clear. And the player's not asking for anything unreasonable. They're asking for more of a piece of pie than they're getting. They get about 9.3% of the revenue, but from my knowledge, they don't get paid for the jerseys that had their names on them, or they didn't at least before the new class of Angel Reese and them all came in. They weren't getting paid for none of that, but they were selling and keeping those profits. How are you profiting off my name and my likeness? That's crazy. But I mean, then again, it is the WNBA, and I don't know what their contract entailed. I know when I was in the military, basically the Army owned me at a point, you know what I'm saying? Because I signed my life over to them at a point in time. I'm not anymore. My contract has ended. I'm no longer, don't have any obligations to them. But sometimes that is how it works when you work with certain organizations. So I would have to see someone's contract specifically to know. But the fact that multiple players have come out and spoken out about how their fair pay is unfair and all of these other things, we wouldn't know that if they weren't telling us. Okay, let's start there. So obviously there is a problem that needs to be addressed, and the leadership is being tone deaf and acting like they can't compensate them fairly. And it's not like they're asking for the same amount of money that the NBA players get, because the NBA players play more games. They've been around longer and all of those things. So like, but I don't think it's unreasonable for them to ask for more. They deserve more, especially these young players that's come in and brought more eyes to this league. Caitlin Clark, why did she have a $78,000 contract when y'all know the type of money she was? Why did, like, Paige Buckers had the same? Like, come on now, let's be real. Cool. They don't play as many games as NBA players. All of this bullcrap that people want to say, that doesn't change the fact of the matter. It doesn't. Not at all. So they need to play the players better. They need to cut that part out of the contract where they're trying to tell them they can't play overseas and they can't play in Unrivaled if they get more money. How are you going to dictate how they make money outside your league if y'all still are dead set on not paying them more money? Make it make sense. And even if you do pay them more money, what else would you prefer they be doing in their off? It's not like Unrivaled is just having them out there and doing things and getting them hurt. No, they make sure they scan the players before games, make sure they don't have any injuries and all types of stuff. They take better care of the players than the WNBA, in my opinion. And I'm a fan of Unrivaled. I'm ready for season 2. And yeah, that's just crazy to me. I don't really want to harp on that situation too long. But all I do know, and I personally feel like Kathy Engelbert needs to step down. That's that's just point blank and period, because the players don't trust her, and the fans are going to ride with the players. Period, because that's why we're here. We're here for the players, not for the leadership. We're here to see the players. And if y'all can't give us the players that we want to see because y'all don't want to pay them fairly, y'all are going to end your own league. Like, let's be real. So that is all I have on the CBA. Go on to the next topic in regards to women's sports. So, with the Unrivaled season that's coming upon us, January 5th, 2026, they added 10 new players to the roster. Got Dana Evans from Las Vegas, Kelsey Plum from LA, Lee Yule on Dallas, Jordan Canada, Atlanta Dream, Alana Smith, Minnesota Lynx, Dejanay Carrington, Minnesota Lynx, Marina Mayberry from Connecticut Sun, Arike Agumbawale from the Dallas Wings, Maddie Seegers from the Dallas Wings, and Aaliyah Boston from the Indiana Fever. So, the roster is filling up. It's 2 spots left that they have not announced yet, and I'm going to keep y'all informed on it. They will be playing in Philly. They did have a press conference last week regarding that. So I am glad to see that they are making strides to expand. They'll play in a bigger arena this time, because where they played last season only could hold 1,000 people, and the league is growing. So I'm here for it. I'm loving how Unrivaled handles the players, how they handle everything so far. No complaints on my end. So yeah, if y'all ready to see some people ball, drop it in the comments, because it's almost here. January 5th, 2026. Get ready. All right. And this will wrap up our WNBA sports take. Once again, finals time, WNBA finals right now. So if you haven't tune in tomorrow, 8 o'clock p.m. for the Mercury versus the Aces at Phoenix. See y'all in the next segment. Okay, so we're gonna get into the yapathon for today. Slash, please don't be. Oh, okay. The Insurrection Act, which is a federal law that allows the president to deploy military domestically suppressing insurrections or civil disorder. It serves as an exception to the Posey Comites Act, which genuinely prohibits the military involvement in civilian law enforcement. Now, let's get into it, because Donald Trump is deploying or trying to deploy, or whatever the case is, the Illinois National Guard to Chicago. He's already had ICE agents going through Chicago, tearing families apart, and just doing some crazy things, right? And the fact of the matter is, you're sending National Guard to Chicago for what? Crime has been reducing. Granted, I know there has been some people that are residents of Chicago saying, well, the crime is still not taken care of, blah, blah, blah. But let's be real, it's better than it has been in the past years. So none of that justifies them sending the National Guard. Like, that's why there are police officers. Like, not there's not enough civil disorder for it to be justifiable for them to send in the National Guard against the governor of Illinois, like, request. Like, come on now. There has never been a time where they send in the National Guard as part of the Insurrection Act without the governor's approval. Because at the end of the day, those National Guard soldiers belong to the state, not the federal government. We all get trained together, yes. They belong to those specific states, which are ran by governors. So it's a huge overreach and abuse of power, as always. Like, the last time they even deployed the National Guards as a part of the Insurrection Act was during the Rodney King shit and stuff in LA. Like, there, even with the George Floyd protests and things that happened in 2020, that never even had the insurrection. People are simply protesting in Chicago, protesting ICE and protesting this administration because they're doing messed up things. But they have the right to do that. That is what the First Amendment allows and provides them the freedom to do. So the fact that Donald Trump wants to send National Guard to these predominantly Democratic states, let's be real. He's only sending Democratic states. Where did Charlie pick that? What was that? Utah? I didn't see them sending any National Guard there. I don't see them sending National Guards to Oklahoma or any of these states where there be these mass shootings. I don't see them sending it to Georgia anywhere. Like, and even if they did, they would probably find the blackest neighborhood to send it to when, if we being honest, white, MAGA, white Christian nationalists are the ones in this country that commit the most crime. So they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about anything. They just want to run their mouth and then act like nothing happened. Like, even the whole January 6th thing, they didn't call the National Guard for that. When all them white people was running up in that dang on White House, all them MAGA supporters was running up in that White House. You know what they did? They went and tried to make it seem like we're the delusional ones because we sat and watched it at home on television in real live time. And they try to minimize what occurred and act like, oh, those were. I had somebody I used to work with tell me that those were FBI agents. Like, people are really, really delusional, and it's getting worse and worse by the day. I don't even know if it's getting worse and worse, if we're being honest. It might have always been like this. They probably just weren't highlighted as much. But now, delusions at all time high, and it just needs to stop. And it's coming from the highest office in this country, which makes it 1,000 times worse. So there I'm just waiting for the day because, once again, there is no valid justification to send the National Guard to any state. There has not been enough civil disorder, if we're being honest. So at this point, you're just trying to intimidate people so that they don't act up. So then you can have a reason to try to send these National Guards. But nobody's falling for it. We're not taking the bait. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that they're not seeing that is beyond. But that's something that our representatives and our senators are supposed to be able to speak up on. And where they at? Where they at? Because they not working. The government is closed. So what are they doing? And I seen a Republican representative from Illinois get his special self on a mic and say that Chicago is just out of control and all of that's bullcrap. And saying that he's okay with what's going on. You're okay with that? Really? Like, do the people that voted for you know that? Because the math's not math. Um, let's not even get all that because that's a whole nother topic. But at the end of the day, he's wasting so much money doing unnecessary things when there are people in this country fighting right now for their health care. There's people right now that are trying to protest for their health care. That should never be a thing in the supposed land of the free. It ain't so free. Freedom of speech ain't free. Nothing's free but having your guns at this point. That's all they care about. Y'all don't care about people dying. Y'all don't care about anything. Y'all don't care about the kids. You definitely don't care about the kids. You're destroying people's property, going to break in to see if it's illegals in it. Like, what are we doing as a country? Like, we're not doing enough civil disorder, if we're being quite frank. But yet and still, this person is sending the National Guard, wasting resources, wasting time. These people that are in the National Guard, they have to leave their families to go and do these things. Like, and he wouldn't understand what that's like because he never was in a uniform. You're supposed to be the commander in chief. You don't even care about the people. You don't care about your soldiers. You're willing to put them in harm's way to push this agenda you got going on. To hell with their families. To hell with everything if it don't benefit you. And that's crazy to me. And it's crazy that there's not enough people, there's not enough representatives, senators, leaders speaking up on it. And there's all these different companies even falling and bending down and bowing to him basically and allowing him just to do whatever he wants. Like, it's getting crazy out. It's getting too crazy for me. And let's talk about the judge. The judge whose house got burned down. And of course, she was a Democratic judge. She received death threats. And right now, her husband is in the dang on hospital. And they want to say, oh, they're investigating the cause of the fire. We know what the cause was. Let's stop playing these type of games. What are we talking about? Like, it's so infuriating. And I just, I'm trying to figure out how we can do more, how I can do more, how I can maybe draw attention to it, or I do something because I feel like helpless, and I don't know if I'm the only one that feels like that. Am I? Like, but like it's like there's literally always something, right? There's literally always something going on, and it's all by design, obviously, but like when does it stop? When do these people get tired of listening to the same stupidity, listen to the same person that's telling everybody else they're idiots and they're going to do whatever he says? When do y'all get tired? It's insane. It's insanity. And I literally was just telling my son about this the other day. Doing something the same repeatedly and not making any changes is insanity. And that's, we're all at this point gonna be dang on insane because we just keep going through the same things over and over and over, and nobody's stopping him. And then when people do try to stop them, like the judge, they get threatened. Their house get catch on fire mysteriously. Save it, save it. Not falling for it. Welcome to Auntie Talk. The topic for today is accountability, right? What's accountability? Accountability is an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility or to account for one's actions. See, this is my favorite word. And to be honest, sometimes I haven't held myself accountable. Sometimes. But most times I try to hold myself accountable because that's the only way I know I can make myself a better person and better in general. If I hold myself accountable, like for instance, UISA, I had to take it twice because I failed the first time. I have to take accountability because I did not properly study the first time, and that is why I failed. That is accountability. Okay? Accountability for people that cheat, whether that be on a person or on a test. You get caught. You don't try to deflect. You take accountability. You apologize. You change your action. That is an acceptable apology. Changing your action. Because you can apologize till you're blue in the face. But actually taking the accountability to step back, reflect on what you did wrong, and moving forward, do better. That is proper accountability. Now, accountability doesn't just apply to parents or older generation folks. It applies to all of us. Young, old, big, tall, small, whatever. It applies. And we all need to be more accountable of the things we do. Growing up, I had a smart mouth. I still kind of do. It just depends on who I'm talking to and what somebody said. But I can take accountability and say that sometimes I was disrespectful and I was wrong. They're wrong. Sometimes. And I can take accountability to that and know that going forward, I will, one, not allow anyone to take me to that place where I am getting disrespectful or of that sort. I'll just walk away. I'll leave that conversation where it's at and I'll walk away, right? That's me trying to take accountability for myself because I know where I can go if somebody get me there. But I'm not going to allow people to get me. I'm going to control my own self and my own emotion and action and disengage, right? This can apply to so many things in life. Um, Adults have a hard time taking accountability. For instance, sometimes I yell at my kids. You know what I'm saying? And one day I might have to take accountability for that on the effects that it might bring. Because I was a child that I was yelled at a lot by my dad. and it affected me in different ways. I was yelled at like a lot. So we don't really think of like I don't know. I'm not gonna speak for everybody. I feel like some people that think like me at least, they yell at their kids and they don't see anything wrong with it because they're not whooping their butt or they're not going too far with like they're not calling them out their names or doing nothing that's disrespecting them as a person because yes, they are children, but they are still people at the end of the day. They're individual people and they still deserve respect regardless if you're the parent or not. Sometimes we have to take accountability for our actions and just simply apologize to our children for the way we've talked to them or something we've said to them because we all have feelings. And if as a child, you went through something similar where you had parents that yelled at you or you had parents that talked to you crazy and they just never came back and apologized or never explained or any they just yelled at you and went on about their day and they expected you to just get over it. That is that's unrealistic if we're being real. Like I know a few of us have probably heard better cut that crying out before I get some power. Like I've heard that a couple times. But we really as adults, and now that I'm an adult, I can see it in that perspective. Like I do have to take accountability for the way I speak to my children. I do have to take accountability for how I treat my children because how I treat them is typically how our children are going to go out in the world and treat other people. So if all you do is sit and yell at your kids all day, know that when your kids go out in the world, they're yelling at people, okay? Um, and it's not easy, you know what I'm saying? Because just just because we're adults doesn't mean we have it all figured out. Um, we all have our shortcomings. We all have things that we can work on and get better at. I just happen to be somebody that has children, and now my children are growing with me as I grow as a person because I've come a long way. Okay, if y'all people that know me know I've come a very long way, but I still have a lot of ways to go in certain aspects. Um, but I can take accountability and say that sometimes I be wrong. And yes, I do apologize to my children. I know some people say that I ain't apologizing to my child. Okay, cool. That's your prerogative. Just know when you get older, your kids ain't gonna wipe your butt because they gonna feel a way about you. Because one, you never took accountability. You never went back and told them why you were talking to them somewhere or why they got yelled at. You never explained anything. So they don't know. They're just taking it all very personal as if you just don't like them or whatever the case is. And I've had parents that they did the best they could, right? That's just the fact of the matter. They did the best they could, period. Um, but some people will just they don't like seeing themselves in a certain light. So they're not going to take account. They may never take account. And sometimes we just, as people, have to be okay with that. And I don't know how y'all feel, but me personally, I feel like you can't, and my husband told me this because I used to sometimes do this where I would apologize, but I'd be like, and then I would be kind of trying to like say why I did it, like explain, I guess, but he took it as me trying to justify my wrong, which in the moment I'm like, I'm apologizing, like, what are you talking about? But when I step back from it and then I'm like, okay, he was right. He was right. I don't tell him that often, so know that. But for real. Okay, so a lot of things that have occurred in my life where I don't even really want, I don't really care for someone to apologize. I just want them to be accountable for their actions towards me or their words towards me instead of say, oh, I don't remember, or oh, I didn't do that, or oh, it wasn't that bad. Like, no, you can't tell me my experience. I lived through that. You never walked a day in my shoes. So don't I don't like people that don't take accountability. So if you go and you smack somebody and then somebody see you smack them and they was like, oh, you're about to get in trouble, and then you're like, I didn't smack them. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Own up to it. Like, what the heck? If I cuss somebody out and then they go and tell somebody else, I'm like, yeah, I cussed them out. That's me taking accountability. Because, yes, I cussed them out. Granted, it might have not been right or whatever. But for me, I needed to do that. It was either cuss their ass out or smack. Which one show you want me to? So it's just simple accountability. Owning up to your actions, standing on things you do and say. If you can't take accountability for something, don't be just out here doing stuff. Period. Point blank. To me, that's something I can't respect. Man, woman, whatever. If you cannot take accountability, you can't be around me because I'm going to call you out on that. And if you're around me, I would expect you to hold me accountable too. Right? Like I said, my husband, he has helped me grow as a person because we've been through a lot, but he holds me accountable. He makes me sit and think and be like, dang, okay, you were right. I'm sorry. I do need to do better. And it wasn't always like that. Sometimes I was the person deflecting, like, you okay, and I did it, and or I didn't do that, or that's not what I meant, or whatever the case is. Well, really, all people be wanting sometimes is for people to take accountability. And it's not just, oh, I'm sorry for doing this to you. It's, I did this, and the real reason I did this, and that wasn't right. At least that's how I see it. I don't know about everybody else. I know when I was a kid, when I was a child, a teen, whatever you want to call me, an adolescent, I did things, and of course, when my parents asked me, I would lie. Was I right? No, I wasn't. Not at all. But I didn't really see it that way. I just seen it as, oh, I'm about to get in trouble, so I'm about to lie. I ain't about to tell the whole truth because I'm gonna get in trouble. And I grew up And I realized that that's not the type of person I want to be, because that's not an honest person. That's not a person with honor. That's a person that will lie right to your face. And lies can hurt people. And I simply just have had to like really sit one day and like, I think I had gotten an argument or something with my husband. And that happens. That happens in marriage, yes. People argue, people go through things in marriage. It's not just always about cheating or any of that. Sometimes it's just a battle of differences, because we were both raised different. And some things I see as a problem, he may not see as a problem. Or some things he sees as a problem, I might not see it like that. And that is okay. We're two different people. But where the accountability and the differences are, um, is you have to get to accountability through communication, right? So someone saying, "Oh, I don't like when you be calling me nugget head." It made me feel away. You be like, but it's funny. That's not taking accountability. You're like, oh, I wasn't aware that I made you feel that way. I apologize, and I won't call you that. That's accountability. Okay? Acknowledging someone's feelings and putting forth the effort to do better going forward, not just in the moment. Like, I had someone I love that I sat and I expressed a lot of things to, and they kind of was like, "Oh, I didn't know, and I don't remember doing that," and all of this other stuff. And they was like, "I wish you would have told me." Why somebody got to tell you when you're wrong? Like, I think a lot of people need to sit and really think about that. Why does anybody need to sit and tell you when you're wrong? You know when you're wrong if we're being real with ourselves. Because if you sit back and think, if somebody did that to me, if somebody said that to me, would I be okay with that? And if the answer is no, you need to go apologize. You need to go fix it. Because it's too many people trying to skip out on the accountability of things. And that is not how life works. Like, you can't go steal from a store and then not expect to have to bear the consequences from stealing. You can't go and cheat on someone and then expect them just to be like, oh, okay, it's cool. No, they might be mad. They might be mad for a long time. You can't tell someone how to react to things. And I feel like I always try to tell my children, treat people how you want to be treated, right? But sometimes I fall short, and sometimes I don't. I let my emotions get the best of me, and I don't even take time to take a deep breath and calm down before I talk to some people. And sometimes they be thinking they don't want to get on my nerves. Well, really, they not. I'm just having a bad day. It's one of them days, right? But I have to take accountability that, okay, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. I'm not trying to put that energy on you. It's just my day. I need to fix that. I shouldn't be going around pushing that energy onto other people, right? So, obviously things don't change overnight. It's trial and error in some things depending on what they are. But we genuinely have to, at the very least, try to do better, right? Like, try to put forth the effort. And don't just try for a day or try for a couple hours. You have to keep trying. You have to keep putting forth that effort day after day, week after week, month after month. It depends on what you're doing that you're trying to fix. But it has to be a continuous thing. It can't just be, oh, I'm gonna do this one time and I'm gonna no, that's not how that works. And you can't hurt somebody else and expect them to just be over it or just respond how you want them to respond. That's not how it works. Once again, if somebody smack you in the face, you gonna want to smack them back, right? And sometimes people are gracious enough that they don't smack people back. But that doesn't make what first person smacking them, it doesn't make it any less. Like, you can't minimize that. You don't know how that impacted the person or how that made them feel. And that's just metaphorically, obviously. I'm not saying go smack people. I'm saying that any action you do may have a reaction. And sometimes it may be something you don't like. Sometimes it might be something that you least expected. But you can't tell people how to react when you do certain things. So, hold yourself accountable. Stand firm. Be a person of your word, a woman of your word, a man of your word. Me, I'm trying to be a woman of my word. So it's certain things that now I'm like, okay, I can't do that because I said I wasn't gonna do that. So I'm gonna try better, and I'm gonna continue to try, and I'm gonna be a better person because I'm I want to be seen as a woman of my word. So you have to move how you want to be seen. If you don't want to be seen like a liar, don't be moving like a liar. Don't be lying. Tell the truth. And don't do things that you have to lie about, right? If you don't want to be seen as somebody that steals, don't be stealing. You wouldn't have to lie about it and you wouldn't have to, you know what I'm saying, pay the consequences for it. Cheating. You don't want to be cheated on? Don't cheat on other people. You can't tell people how to respond to things that they don't like. Because then what you going to do? Cheat back again? Like, you already was cheating. So what are we doing? Like, come on now. Yeah. It's a lot of different examples I could give, but I think those should be just enough. Um, we have to be better people, bro. We have to be better. We have to be better for ourselves. We have to be better for our children. We have to be better for future generations. We just have to be better as a whole because this world is bad enough. We don't need to add to the bad. We don't need to add to the negative. And life's not easy. Sometimes you're going to be frustrated. You're going to cuss some people out. But make sure that you're ready to deal with whatever comes with whatever happens after you cuss them out. Because you can't tell people how to respond, right? I got into it with my sister. I cussed her out. I walked away. She wanted to fight. I can't tell her how to respond. Did I respect it? No. But that's how she felt. So you live, you learn. But if I can learn and tell you, you don't have to go through the same thing. People got to start learning from other people's experiences and mistakes. We can't keep doing the same thing we seen Rick and Tom do. And, like, come on now. We can't. It just don't make sense. So that is all I have. And you guys in the next segment. Okay, we are back with our cyber talks, and for those of you that are just joining and are not aware, cyber is short for cybersecurity, which means the ability to protect or defend the use of cyberspace from cyber attacks, meaning protecting your devices that can connect to the internet, phones, laptops, desktops, PlayStations, things like that. So that's basically what cybersecurity is. So let's get into it. So today, the Hacker News shared a article regarding potential malware that is being sent out disguised as job job description PDFs. Okay, it's coming from a Vietnamese threat actor named Bat Shadow. They are targeting job seekers, which is messed up because a lot of people are not seeking jobs, but they're seeking job seekers and digital marketing professionals. And they're using social engineering by sending out emails acting like they're a employer looking for employees, and they send PDFs that are titled job descriptions, um, for whatever title they are trying to persuade this person into taking. And then they trick those people into opening them, which then allows a type of malware, so a vulnerability type of thing, that allows them to have access to your system, whatever system that is that you are accessing that file on. Now, this is what it says on the website. It says they leverage the zip archives containing decoy PDF documents along with malicious shortcuts, which are typically labeled .lnk, or executable files that are masked as PDFs to trick users into opening. Okay, when they launch the shortcut file, it's embedded with a PowerShell script that reaches out to an external server to download a Lure document, a PDF for marketing job at Marriott. Then it also says that the script also downloads from that same zip, including files related to ExtraViewer, a remote desktop connection software, and it executes it likely with an aim to establish persistent access to compromised hosts. So, I know there are a lot of people out there that are looking for jobs right now. Please be careful. If somebody is just randomly sending you an email that's from at Gmail or at iCloud, typically that's not a valid professional email. Typically, would have their domain name in their email address. And when I say domain name, I'm referring to typically it's labeled with their company. So, for instance, Google. Google's domain is Gmail, but I'm more than certain they're not emailing people off of a Gmail account, right? So just be aware of that. Don't If somebody is sending you an email with some links on things to click, if you put your mouse over the link, it should show you the actual URL or the name of whatever that is actually trying to take you to, okay? So before you click on anything from some random person trying to offer you a job, verify. Don't click on it, but highlight it with your mouse. Hold your little mouse cursor on top of that link. It should show you exactly what the link is taking you to, or what the file name actually is, and then you can know if you can proceed with opening. On top of that, it says that the instructions on the part of the attacker to get to the victim to use Edge as opposed to Google, Chrome, or other web browsers is likely down to the fact that scripted pop ups and redirects are likely blocked by default in these other applications, whereas manually copying and pasting the URL on Edge always allows the infection chain to continue as it's treated as a user initiated action. So, typically, when people send emails with links, a way to verify, sometimes people copy it and paste it into the URL. With this specific vulnerability, it's saying that's exactly what they want you to do, okay? So you need to be extremely careful when you are about to click on the link or download anything from a supposed employer. Not only that, once again, make sure you highlight the link to see where it's trying to take you. If it's not a valid sender or you don't know the person, do not open it. Ask them to copy it into an email and send it to you so that you can read it without having to open anything on your computer. Because once you open it, they're going to get access to your computer. It says they can get remote access. That's what you're downloading. You're downloading a remote access software that will launch on your system and give them access to your system, whether that be your computer, your phone, your tablet, whatever device you are using to connect to the internet and read and download these things. Always verify the sender. Look at the sender, see who it is. If it says at iCloud, at Hotmail, at Gmail, at whatever that does not actually look like the title of the company, typically is scam. It's fraud, okay? You have to be careful. On top of that, check for misspelling of the words, misspelling of the title of the company. Sometimes that's how they can get people. Sometimes it will say Marriott, and we're so familiar with Marriott that we'll look at it and think it says Marriott. Whole time it's missing like a T or an I out of the word. You just have to pay attention to the little things sometimes, especially when it comes to this. You do not want your system to get hacked because if you have passwords stored on your computer or anything like that, they'll be able to access that. And they'll be able to access it because they can monitor your system and see you type in passwords and do all types of things. So just be cautious. That's the news for the day. That's all I have for y'all. Like I said, be careful, verify. And don't be opening any documentation, PDF, shortcuts, links, or anything from a sender that you do not know or you're not aware that they're sending something, okay? Y'all be blessed. Have a good week. And your girl is out.